Joe.
Joe.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Joe's a fucking nut job. What the hell?
Yeah, you know me. I just go, Formula One launched a new token, Alpine. Well, of course, now I'm seeing that it is down. But this is what's to be. When Russia's doing nuclear war game drills and talking about attacking NATO, which to me is like, just bring it, pussy. I'm ready for it. I'm so sick of these assholes. They're fucking everything up. Let's just do them. But that's given some uncertainty in equities and in crypto and everything right now. So,
yeah.
But I don't, look, it's not like it doesn't look like it's super hemorrhaging to me. I mean, 6%, but that's really not that big of a number to me. So, we're going to see what happens here, I think.
Yeah.
But, whatever.
Let me.
Equities don't look that bad today. I thought that was going to be more of a bloodbath. And I'm just pulling some charts real quick while we talk.
Why the fuck? Oh, there we go.
But, I had a good conversation with a buddy of mine in New York this morning. We were talking about, he started the call by going, "Oh, dude, you're tanking the markets again for us." And I'm like, "Well, they're down." Because I was just busy all morning. And if I start looking at everything, then I get distracted, of course. But,
yeah.
So we started talking, and I said, the S&P is frothy, and it's going to have an adjustment, but I don't, when we look at all the other macro stuff and, where do people put their money when we get this kind of, global geopolitical uncertainty? They put it in the U.S. and you start, if you got to park $500 billion of your country's money, you put it in the U.S. bank.
Yeah.
You don't go to friggin', not poking on anybody, but you don't go to Argentina. You don't go to India. You don't go anywhere like that. Those guys are all coming here. So, capital flight or capital comes into the U.S. market and it typically goes into equities. So, is it really overvalued? I mean, I always bitch about the PE ratios, but, maybe earnings are not calculated the same way these days because, we know the corporations don't really pay any taxes for the most part.
Right.
So, I think accounting entries and things possibly, depress those earnings, take them down as low. I mean, I've seen that shit in small companies, $20 million companies all over the Midwest where they just run that shit to zero. You got to think the big boys do it too. So price to earnings ratio, is that still a meaningful barometer? I don't know. I mean, I haven't really looked at EBITDA margins across the board, but I suspect those are pretty high too.
Yeah.
So because of all the tax accounting, buybacks and, all those amortization adjustments and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know, I'm like, unless the Fed changed their mind and really cranked the shit out of interest rates, it would be like, that might do something, but I don't see them doing that in a political year.
Yeah.
So again, it's going to come down to like, if you're like, I heard from others that there's about 400 billion on the sidelines to go into crypto and institutionals in New York. So you start thinking, when you pull money out of the market to equities to rebalance your portfolio, I mean, are you really going to put it back in the stock market at that point? If you're institutional, I think you're going to start putting more into crypto. So I don't know. We'll wait and see what happens. Hopefully I talk light of it, but hopefully the Ukraine stuff doesn't turn into a total dust up because that's going to be, the allies versus the Axis powers again, with the Axis being China and Russia. And that'll be a mess, of course. But, I don't know, man. It's just got to get settled. So, we'll see what happens next. Everything else I see is good, in interest, user adoption. You just get some of the old guard, the old guys complaining about crypto. You got a lot more regulation coming. But, everything else looks pretty solid to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's down, but I'm not super fearful right now.
Well, it's interesting. It's pretty interesting how this fractal's lining up right now.
Yeah, what days are those? I can't.
It's hard to see. I would.
Hold on,
I
let me grab some
Fred
glasses real
5
quick. Hold on.
times to draw the line. This is 16, 17. Wait, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, like it shouldn't be this accurate, but it's actually
Well,
it's actually
what's
the 18th is lined up on this dip. Now the price is not lined up. Obviously, it's below this price that he at 42.5, but the dip is exactly lined up for the 18th. And they're seeing, and then we would see a little bit of a pump up 2 or 3 grand back on the 19th. So tomorrow and the next day, another dip, and then another back up, another couple of grand, grand and a half. And then a nice peak at around the 26th, 25th.
And then a shit show.
And then a shit show. Obviously, this is directional, and times and prices don't match, and this is based on historical data and flows, but historically, this thing has done really well a few times and not done great a few times. But once it kind of locks into the pattern, I have found in the past that it does really well. So we'll see how it goes over the next few days. We'll see if we get this move back up tomorrow and then another dip down and see if we're on the same path. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it and I mean, I think this makes total sense just because with interest rates going in March, uncertainty, geopolitical risk, you know, it just makes sense that people are going to be reallocating portfolios at that point.
Yeah.
So, you know, and look, we just did 32.5. What, you know, is that January 24th on this chart? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, you know, we were at 32.5 and, you know, nobody was, you know, sticking a gun in their mouth or anything. At least nobody I know. So I'm not too worried. But, you know, it's never fun. Just look at other stuff. And this is an index. So, and this is just BTC. This isn't DeFi. This isn't like, where does money go? I still know people that are crushing it on yield over on Cosmos and Osmosis and places like that. And, you know, and I just haven't had a chance to get over there to look at it because of our other project and, you know, prepping for other things. But I don't know, man. It's just don't let BTC, I'm not saying to you, I'm saying to everyone else, don't let BTC just define everything for you. Because it does tend to lead the market. But just as we talk about decoupling from equities, BTC will actually eventually decouple from ETH and everything else. We've seen it a little bit. I mean, do you have a chart on BTC, ETH, I guess market dominance? You know, that flippening chart that's always popping up?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you there for a second. Had a call come in.
Oh, sorry. Do you have that chart on?
Still can't fucking hear you. Are you kidding?
I'll tell you what, man. It's time to short Apple. Time to short Apple, guys. If Brad can't make it work.
I don't know if you can hear me. I can't hear you.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Yes. But, you know, I guess just think it's eventually going to decouple. And as things adjust, he doesn't know we can hear him. Hopefully he won't say anything. So again, you know, days like this, I'm not too worried. It's a weekend coming up. You know, that's when things usually get interesting because everything's pretty thinly traded and Wall Street's out of the action over the weekend. You know, they start happy hour about 4:30 today. So, you know, that's going to leave it up to the. Hey, I can hear you.
I couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. So we'll see what happens over the weekend. But again, you know, look for opportunities. I mean, you know what I was looking at? I was looking at Kathy Wood's ARK Invest charts yesterday, and damn, that looks like. I mean, how can you bet against an innovation in general? And you know, as part of your portfolio, and that entry point is looking really good on that ETF. It's off 26% right now. You know, she's pissed that, well, there's another group that's like, you know, specifically shorting her whole portfolio. And, you know, because a lot of the traditionalists, you know, the T-bill kind of guys, you know, they don't like how she's been kicking ass for the last couple of years and making tons of money. And of course,
Well,
there's,
she is a she. We can't have that.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, and there's the bro culture where they kind of want to pile on and bury her. So, I'm looking at that up 26%. The chart looks good. And it's an ETF. You don't have to think about it.
Right.
So, I'm thinking about going into that actually.
Nice.
But, this is the thing. I spent the first half of the year trading constantly and, trying to find safe havens where I could sleep and not have to worry about it. And, that's why I went on vacation for a couple of months and came back and did that July 15th to now kind of run. But, I've been slacking off on actually trading for, about 8 weeks now.
Right.
Just because I've just got too much other things going on. And it's an all in, 24 or 25, 8, 340 kind of scenario. You never escape it. And it's hard. But ETFs and stuff, you can just dump it in. BTC, you can just dump it in. BTC goes to 32.5 or 30 or 34, I'm going in then. ETH goes to 1800, I'm going in. 2200, I'm going in. So those are ones where I just believe they're going up long term. They're going to decouple. These are opportunities more than calamities. Now, I don't use leverage. So, that's a different story because, those guys are getting wiped out left and right. But that's the way that market works. I just kind of try to keep it a little bit more sane and, try to find stuff that I just have total confidence. We talked before, Curve, Phantom, Matic, Aave, what's the one I was looking at? Not Compound. I was hearing some good stuff about Balancer. But, Avalanche, Phantom, Matic, those are all solid plays. ETH, BTC, of course, Aave, Curve, all the big.
I like 0x. I like, all of those.
Yeah. The one thing I did hear something interesting about Ripple. Well, they're now pressed in at the SEC to let their thing be kind of the central, I guess, oracle for all the other stable coins.
Right.
Trying to find a role for that. Now, I don't know the viability of that, if that makes any sense or all, but I like the fact that they're always trying to find something for it. So I'm sort of still holding on to the little bit of Ripple I have from 4 or 5 years ago. But, I don't expect that to be a big run. I just expect it to maybe be something.
Yeah.
But I tend to put Ripple in the category with like Cardano and Stellar and EOS and, all those 2018 plays that, I'm not really that interested in them, but, maybe they come back. But, it's not like they're trading at, 0.0001.
Right.
They're all in I think Ripple's probably what, 85 cents now or something. And I think Stellar maybe a quarter. And Cardano is below $1, I think, again. And that was like at 240 not that long ago. But those are like EOS, maybe what's the like 350, $4 or something. I think all those, it's not worth it at this point. I'd rather play on the new stuff, play in the gaming space, play in the NFT space, play in the DeFi space. I mean, that's where the next wave comes out of. So these just, these kind of corrections, I just don't bother me that much. But, again, I'm not betting the whole stack either. You guys well know my strategy by now, which is not to do that. So I don't get wiped out. It's funny. I saw something on TV recently, maybe Bloomberg or something, about all the GameStop people that made just killings, and they haven't been able to duplicate it since then. So they bought a house. These guys that were there, they bought a house, Midwest mansion kind of thing, and then they keep trying to duplicate it, and they keep getting wiped out. And so, the point is that, again, the GameStop thing was a unique situation where it was up only for just about everybody. Those don't happen very often. I mean, I had it with .com. You're thinking I was just a friggin' genius. And then I watched like 6 companies as I DCA dollar cost average all the way down to zero.
Well,
because then the preferred guys took over the preferred stockholders took over everything and wiped out the common stock. So,
the reason GameStop worked was they had a critical mass of people all in on the vision, right? Like they had to have that
30 million
of people
something.
buying to support it. Yeah. I mean, otherwise it doesn't work. So, we've talked about Frax and FPI before, and for those of you that haven't heard that discussion, FPI is coming shortly, I believe. I don't think it's come out yet. And FPI is the Frax Price Index, and it is currently modeled after the current CPI data. They've got a custom Chainlink oracle that was built utilizing the existing federal government's CPI or the Fed CPI. But the idea behind this is to have a token that's tied to it so that it reflects the actual cost of living of people. And then as they proceed, they will integrate other data APIs to make it a more realistic reflection of what we have to pay for things and what, not what the dollar is worth, but what our money is worth, right? So anyway, there's this great thread explaining how Frax and the FPI works and why this is so important. That this is not just, it is an experiment, but it's not just an experiment. It's an attempt to take control away from the Fed and governments over the value of money. And so, and there's a lot of cool things here. Anybody that's currently staking Frax in a number of different types of pools will get airdrops of FPI. There will be high inflation staking of FPI initially with a petering out, and they have a plan for that. I think there's a lot of potential for FPI because it will take a long time for any level of adoption in the real world. But setting something up that actually reflects real world prices and real world dollar values for actual people is the kind of thing that could eventually be picked up on in the financial markets, right? Because if so many people make fun of the CPI, right? So many people say, it's manipulated, it's not realistic, it doesn't take in like true renter costs, et cetera, et cetera. And something that actually does that and actually reflects true value is something that may be picked up. And if it becomes part of the narrative around inflation and pricing and consumer spending capabilities, that's the kind of thing I think does a lot to push people in the real world in traditional finance to see this as something that actually has value in DeFi, right? Is people who are experimenting with what money means and what its true value is. So I think there's a lot of potential for this project. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Sam and the team, the other founders there. This is an awesome thread. If you want to take a look at it, it's at Bitly. I did a Bitly link for it, bit.ly/FPI explained. And here I'll post it in so everybody can see it and not have to just hear what I'm saying. But that's the link. Really awesome thread explaining how it works, why it's important, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I like that. I like Frax a lot too, and I like these kind of interesting angles about, like how UST does their thing with, trying to maintain their stable coin price by doing like an oracle of all the other stable coins. This is kind of interesting tying it to CPI data, but if they're tying it to the CPI, then aren't they just, it's not going to reflect any change from the current deficiencies in CPI.
Right. It will initially just be the CPI data, but the goal is as they grow this, they will add other feeds. So like you can add things like Amazon API feeds for pricing. You can add all kinds of other data feeds from other providers out there that aren't put into the CPI, right? That actually give you better reflections of price data. So, and the token's value, I'm assuming here, will be relevant and tied to what the true value, I believe, of the US dollar is based on the CPI, rather than being $1. But we'll see how that all floats out. It's a really complex problem to solve. And this is one of those big, hairy vision, mission, goal things. But the fact that somebody's doing it to me is pretty inspiring from a DeFi perspective, because I think it'll make people think. And I think that's important.
And it'll present a lot of interesting arbitrage opportunities for people that
absolutely
know that data, and for people to skew the data. to change the value of the token itself or the coin itself. So that's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah.
But cool stuff.
I created a list. I'm starting to pull in users on Twitter who post French charts and DeFi strategies.
Cool.
So I'm following those in the list. Those of you that would like to follow it or submit to me people that you think should be on it, people that provide strategies on a regular basis on Twitter, you can go to bit.ly.
What is
bit.ly /DeFi strategies. And you can subscribe to the list there. Right now, I've got about 26 people in there. I haven't really curated it effectively. I've tweeted about a couple of times. I haven't gotten a ton of engagement on those tweets. But, if we all kind of can put together the people we think have good strategies that they post on a regular basis on Twitter, it'll be a good way for us to find some alpha and also learn new ways to manage our investing.
Yeah, I'm just kind of what are DeFi strategies?
Yeah, bit.ly /DeFi strategies.
Okay, I'll find it. Yeah, I'm trying to do more with Twitter these days to figure it out, but I mean to use it, but it's just another friggin' thing I'm gonna have to deal with.
You'll survive it.
I got to get off Telegram, man. That's the thing. That's what's clogging all my. And Discord, God, that's a freaking.
Well, just limit some of the things that you get, notified on Telegram.
Yeah,
Jack
it's funny.
Niewold is. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna say everybody's bitching, dude. You never respond to my emails, and I'm like, yeah, get in line.
Like, emails, fucking this antiquated shit.
Email's the last thing on the list, basically.
Yeah.
After all the other shit.
Yeah.
So what are we going here with Jack? What's Jack doing?
So Jack is one of my favorite follows, and he did this. I'm going to put all these, by the way, in the show notes, all these links. I didn't do a bit.ly for this. Here, let me do a bit.ly for this. This actually is a thread of threads that he did. He does this weekly where he takes the best DeFi threads for the week and posts them into one thread. And this one is pretty epic. It's got all kinds of strategies in it. How not to get wrecked hunting microcaps, DeFi dark arts, a new narrative on Bitcoin, just a ton of strategies and insights amongst all these people. And I'm adding all of the people that he's threading into the DeFi strategies list. So we have them. Like this guy, Degen Amx, put together a list of places to farm with stablecoins and their rates. So just lots of good shit. Here, let me, the problem is, the reason I didn't create a bit.ly for this is he does it every week. So I'll do like Jack Niewold 1. How's that? We'll do that. Let's do Jack Niewold 1. And I'll post this one in. I'll put this in the list as well. So everybody can.
You are pretty savvy at this.
Oh, thanks, Joe. I've just been sitting here waiting through 87 episodes to get your validation. Thank you.
Oh, you've had it at episode 1, buddy. You know that.
Dude, 87 I think 87.
That's fucking crazy, man.
Oh, this is 88. 88 episodes. We're 12 away from 100.
We should do something to celebrate that. Like maybe do a show from Vegas or something. Or we'll do a show from the spa at Fontainebleau. How about that?
There you go. I like that. That works for me. That works for me. I like that.
We'll get at the tables where, what was it, Goldfinger sat when he was playing gin against that guy. And James was up top, like, looking at the cards, or the girl was cheating for him. That's right. And then James made him make the wrong calls. Yeah, that'd be fun. We'll do a show from there. We can do a show from Smith and Walensky over on Governor's Cut across from Fisher Island. That's a great place.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, 100. That's amazing. No wonder I'm so tired.
Hey. I was trying to find some not great news that I saw yesterday, and I forgot to bookmark it.
I got
And
some
I
stuff
don't.
if you want to do some hunting.
I don't. I'm just going to say it. There's a new strain.
Street. Oh, of BA.2. Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hearing about that too.
A study out of Japan says as fast spreading as Omicron and as resistant as Delta, with more severe effects. So
yeah, I saw a South African one saying that too, and but then I look at all the numbers, and all the numbers are still going down big time.
yeah, let's hope it stays that way. And
yeah, I'm just last thing I want.
Stays out. So I found this thread. I'm going to run through the rest of my links, and you can do yours, Joe.
Okay.
Found this thread on which makes a really valid point. The TLDR on this is auto compounding is awesome, right? Like Beefy and those kinds of folks. Here's some, by the way: Auto Farm Network, 11 Finance, Yield Yak. I've never seen Yield Yak. I don't think I've ever looked at 11. I've heard of 11, but I haven't looked at it. Beefy and Auto Farm Network, I have. But the most important thing to remember is look, oftentimes our only real risk, because we know that a project's not going to rug, is smart contract risk. Well, when you're auto compounding, you've doubled the smart contract risk, right? Yeah. So it's something for us all to keep in mind as we go, oh, look at those yummy yields and I don't have to do anything because I'm auto compounding, which is an awesome service they provide. But Beefy Finance is not auditing Joe Schmo's yield farm, right? So it's really critical that we consider those risks when we're doing this shit. So don't just assume that because it's on Beefy Finance that the farm is good. They're not doing due diligence on projects. I mean, I'm assuming on occasion that they actually look and see if it's a legit kind of operation, but don't just dive in and fucking ape into this shit on auto compounders until you do the work that you would normally do on any project, which is check out the team, check out the project. How long's it been around? What's the TVL like? What are the audit lists like? What's the community like? Do all that good due diligence that you should be doing on any project. You need to do it on the auto compounding project, and you need to do it on the lower level project. Even after all that, even the best projects have been exploited, and it doesn't even have to be a hack. It can just be an exploit of the economics, the algorithm, the math of a model, or code that's been used that, like the wormhole exploit, that's been around and didn't realize it needed to be upgraded, and then suddenly upgraded it and took advantage of it. So keep in mind at all times, you're doubling your risk when you use an auto compounder. So I thought that was just a good thing to point out. There's other good information in here and things to think about. They talk about the Grim Finance hack, which was a two-layer smart contract risk. But anyway, good stuff in this one as well.
Yeah, I was just at the Yield Yak site. It's actually a good one to check out. There's a lot of good information on there.
Okay, cool. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
This is a ranking, and I didn't dive into the source of the data yet, but this is a ranking of all the major famous DeFi VCs by their yield, their max profit, and their max loss on their investments on their tokens. Now, I don't know if they're tracking wallets to see that they're still holding these investments, or if they're just taking the lifespan of that token from the day that Pantera invested and seeing where its current value is today. Maybe it says it here. Are not representative of VC performance, are only measured the value of the financing information for investors. Some projects have multi-round of funding. All funding data are from DevMetrics, and price data are from CoinGecko.
So, okay, so all yields calculated are not representative of VC amount, but only measure the value of financing information for investors. Well, I don't get where the yield number's coming from. So if true VC...
So from the data funding announcement, I see.
So it's after they funded. What happened after that? Okay.
Yeah, and maybe they're taking into account the vesting periods. And they also say that sometimes investors get differing yields later after holding for X amount of time. So anyway.
It's probably not pricing the warrants in either.
Yeah, so this is still pretty interesting.
Yeah, probably higher numbers is my guess at this point.
But
hey, send me that link because I want these names.
It's in our group.
Okay, cool.
It says VC token rankings.
All right, awesome.
Interestingly, low. What I want to find out are all of these guys in Nansen, right? Because if they're all in Nansen, I'm gonna seriously think about snagging a subscription to that because, if you've got if you could follow DCG, Galaxy, Pantera, Coinbase wallets, that could be a valuable strategy for some fundamentals based investing.
DCG, who's running that?
I'd like to see this sorted by max profit instead of yield.
Yeah, and then it gets kind of tricky, like max profit, max loss.
Yeah.
So it's somewhere in between there.
I'm assuming that's on one investment. I don't know if he says.
All right.
Here they are in alphabetical order. Alameda. Oh, so then they're breaking out each of their individual investments. Yeah.
Let's look at the team here. Who are these
A16Z. This is yeah, they have details on every investor group.
So, okay. So Grayscale is a wholly owned subsidiary of DCG. I didn't really know that either. So let me see here. Who's here? Anybody I know?
What the hell's Magic?
No board members. Silver Lake. Yeah, I know those guys, but I don't know. Oh, Larry Summers. All right. Yeah. I've met him a bunch. Big treasury guy.
Yeah.
Harvard professor, all of that. He's a board of advisor guy at DCG. But, it looks good. I mean, these are a lot of fun.
It's just interesting data. Mm-hmm. You look at the best performers, track their wallets. Let's see what else. Nansen put out a piece on the importance of blockchain analytics. Obviously, they're biased because that's what they do. But I actually think it's a really good overview of what they do and what they offer. So, something to check out and learn a little bit about, kind of how to do it, how to track it. I think he's going to potentially launch a function in the system that I suggested to him, which was tracking. They aren't currently tracking wallets that rugged and wallets that invested in those and wallets that were associated with bad projects, rugged projects, exploited projects, etc. And I said, for me, from my perspective, that's one of the key things I want to check. If I look at a token that's launching and there is some indirect association with a previous rug pull, I'm probably going to score it less, right? So anyway, that's interesting. The other thing I should have suggested to him was the liquidation ratios, the debt ratios on projects, so people can track that and keep in mind for their investments, a la Olympus DAO, Wonderland, etc. New version of Gains is out, and he's published. Seb has published their roadmap. I'm really excited about this project. I got to get back to him about getting an MTF integration going with this thing because that's actually pretty exciting to me. And then I posted in our Material Indicators group the other day. So SpiritSwap has integrated with Decents, and I love this being able to trade stocks as synthetics shit. And it's not going to load, is it? Anyway, another one I want to integrate with because Roblox took that hit on Monday morning, I guess. When was that? They took the hit because their numbers were
earlier
down
this week. Yeah, earlier this week sometime, yeah.
MTF threw a take profit, threw a signal at the opening bell, and 3 minutes later closed at 5.5%.
Nice.
So I want to start playing the stocks with it. Yeah. And the synthetics are fast, right? I don't have to wait for fucking, some middleman at the stock exchange to fucking close my trade. So
it'll be interesting because I know with crypto, like on Binance, they autofill everything that's within the bid-ask spread. So, when that signal fires, it's pretty easy to grab those 1.5 to 2.5 point gains quick.
Right.
Curious with stocks, because they tend to trade more on actual material events around cash flow, because that's how you value stock. If you're going to get as many signals, I bet you're just going to get fewer signals, but they're going to be solid, clean signals.
Yeah, they're
And that'll be
solid and
kind of,
clean.
yeah.
And then there are stocks that historically have a good number. So, for example, Tesla over the last 2 years has thrown so many beautiful, juicy signals, right? Just they're so much fun. It's so much fun the way people trade that. So there are some opportunities. And the cool thing is once we have it available in these kinds of platforms, we'll have the historical data to say, oh, stock XYZ is actually throwing 2 signals a week with X returns, start that one up. So anyway, a little divergence there. That's all I had in my list, Joe.
I got a couple things, but I want to start with, I found something for your wife, actually, that she's going to really like. And Mercedes reveals 677 horsepower electric performance sedan. So we've kind of picked out what her next birthday present
What's
should
the sticker on that one?
You got to ask. I'm sure it's going to be like 150 or something.
I was going to say 140, 150.
Yeah. Yeah. But everything's so, obviously these cars
That's
are
nice.
more and more expensive, but it's a nice look.
It doesn't look like a Mercedes.
No,
I like that dash.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that's really that's nice. That's a really nice design. 677 horsepower. What's the range? Do they say?
Let's see if we got it. Speeds above, let's see, all 4-wheel drive, power distribution. Let's see. It's an AMG. All right, here we go. In a race start acceleration mode, takes the car from 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. Which is that's faster than the Shelby Cobra.
What's the model?
Well, what are we gonna say? Mercedes AMG EQ. Well, no, it joins the even more powerful Mercedes AMG EQS, a larger car capable of producing as much as 751 horsepower. So I guess this is called. It's just an AMG, but I don't know. Maybe it's
there. It is EQE.
Based on
an AMG is their high end.
Yeah, it's the high end version. So whatever EQE, I haven't driven any of these yet, or EQE. So I'm kind of still a gasoline guy. But yeah, I guess we're just calling it the Mercedes AMG EQE. But I don't see what the range is. I don't get that. But hey, just something to put on your list for the wifey.
She wants an electric Jeep, but their electric sucks. It's like 13 miles on it. 13 mpg essentially. Once it hits like 20 miles into a charge, it's ridiculously bad.
Wow, that's horrible.
Yeah, it's horrid. It's the worst engineered electric vehicle on the road as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, this is kind of stuff we talked about earlier. Just saying Wall Street's in full de-risking mode right now, and that's what's kind of bleeding into crypto. Another article on electric cars. I thought that was kind of interesting. But then Fidelity launches its first Bitcoin exchange traded product in Europe. So that's positive, mainly for institutional clients. Fidelity physical Bitcoin ETP. So that's a plus. And then what was this one? Oh yeah, and then the Grayscale. They asked all their people to start sending letters to the SEC to try to get this converted into a spot ETF. And so the SEC has recorded like almost 200 new letters. But a lot of people are stuck in that and they can't get out. So, and also some good news about Ukraine. They legalized BTC and cryptocurrencies. So another, and then, more congressmen are pushing the SEC for this spot Bitcoin ETF. I don't know which Minnesota Congressman, Tom Emmer. So, we need that in place too. Because it gives another way for people to get into it versus just, futures. Yeah. So that's positive. FBI launches new crypto crimes unit. I take it as a positive because if you're out stealing from grandma, I want you in jail, basically.
Yep.
At least some wait, deputy attorney, she's going to evaluate which types of crimes involved in crypto might need more resources. So they're stepping up their game. And then what do we got here? More Charlie Munger. This is really some interesting stuff. This guy's
such a piece of shit.
I just don't, I don't want to. He's actually very good investor over time. But he does say something in here that he's big on China, which I was kind of surprised that people are still big on China right now. He says, I wish crypto had been banned immediately, and I admire the Chinese for banning it. So you wonder, what are they investing in China? There's a lot of companies get in trouble because they're investing in Uyghur businesses, which are essentially slave businesses. But he just trashes crypto in this, but he said was something funny here. He also
that's all we need to know, that we're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, and he trashes GameStop. But again, this is guys that are like, you got $20 billion to invest. You just put it in something where you cannot lose, and you make 50 bips, and you're like, oh wow, okay, 50 bips on 20 billion. It's like 500 million, I think. So I'm horrible at math on the fly these days, but it's a big number. Let's put it that way.
Well, I mean, here's the bottom line. He's gone from he and Buffett being, risk takers, doing innovative shit, putting it all on the line, to fat, happy, boring, and fearful. And if there's any lesson to learn, it's no matter how well you do, don't end up like this fuck, right? Don't end up as the grumpy old shit, pissed
Scrooge.
at the world, who is fearful of change and innovation because it's a threat.
But it's interesting. So, he says something interesting. Like I guess his thing must be called Daily Journal or something, but it says they've been building up its stake in China's Alibaba. And Munger was repeatedly questioned about the investment and his views on investing in China. He said that he's more comfortable investing in that country than Buffett is. Because I remember Buffett selling a whole bunch of China a few years ago. So it's interesting to see how they have two very different perspectives on things. And then that was what you were doing. That was that. And then I just had some, I was looking at some charts here. But that's about all I really had today. I got
at 1 o'clock, so we'll cut it short today.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure your wife got news of this new Mercedes.
Thanks. I'll let her know that's her next car. That Joe's going to gift that.
Hey, no.
Her.
I got a better idea. Put up that wallet address. Let's buy Brad's wife a Mercedes. But anyhow, what is Chuck saying something here? Hold on before we go. If they don't say the range, I don't want you to know. His Model S does. His Tesla goes
60 miles per hour in 3.2 seconds.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Chuck, I looked for 3 more articles and nobody says the fucking range. So it's probably like 73 miles on a charge.
Yeah, that's why. Well, I get 456 miles on mine.
On your full tank of gas?
Yeah, my premium gas that I use. So, and that's setting the cruise I could set the cruise at 82 on the highway for as long and run the whole tank out and get like 34 miles to the gallon, doing 82.
Nice.
So, and have full range of like almost 500 miles. So to me, I don't know. I just don't looking for plugins and stuff.
I like our we have that Chrysler Pacifica hybrid, plug-in hybrid, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm assuming their next model will have more, but our plug-in charge gets us 30 miles. So around the town, we average anywhere from 42 to 50 miles per gallon because we rarely buy gas. We're all, driving the kids to school, going to the grocery store, shit like that. We're not spending any gas. Once we hit the road, we're in the low 30s. And it is a big ass minivan with a giant stack of batteries in it. And once the initial charge is out, if you're driving for 4 hours, you're on a hybrid model, which is still pretty good. But I'm hoping they extend the range on that because it's perfect for just driving around town, right? And I don't have to worry about finding the plug in order to actually go more than 3.5 hours driving, right? So I kind of like that hybrid model, but anyway.
Well, hey, look, and it's great for going to the club, right?
because you know me.
Taking your minivan to the club. There
You know
go.
me out at the clubs.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
see, I'm the exact opposite. I get killed in city driving. I'm in the low 20s in city driving.
Yeah.
But when I hit the highway, that's where I make it all up.
There you
Although
go.
I don't really drive anywhere other than around, Pinecrest, Grove, Coral Gables. That's about the only
Yeah.
place I ever go.
Yeah.
Maybe downtown. But anyhow, let's cut it.
All right. Thank you,
long-
everybody, for listening.
Big weekend today.
Tell everybody you love them.
So pay attention to what's going on this weekend. But if you see a lot of volatility, remember Wall Street's not in it over the weekend. They're out on vacation somewhere. So it'll be mainly Asia trading. But we'll see what happens. So, we'll talk about it on Monday. So be safe.
Love you guys. Please
Talk to you.
like, subscribe, review, and share with your friends and family. Have a great weekend, everybody. Later, Joe.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.